Good evening. We're going to call this meeting to order, and we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag. Just a couple quick housekeeping items to get out of the way. Since we got a full house, which is great to see everybody here. We're going to listen to all the presentations. You're going to have 5 minutes per organization, not 5 minutes per person, but 5 minutes per organization. At the end of all the presentations, then we will, as a council, decide about the requested amounts and that going forward. So just so you know, we're not going to listen to the presentation, then make a decision. We're going to listen to them all, and then we'll make the decisions at the end of the meeting. During your presentation or after your presentation, we will, make a time for counselors to ask you questions or get clarifications and from the budget committee. But that is just for that. So can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Christie.
Present.
Mr. Deacon.
Here.
Ms. Gaba is excused. Gardner.
Here.
Mr. Parmelo.
Here.
Ms. Thomas. Here. Watson.
Here.
6 present. And there are 5 budget committee members.
All right. Roll call for the budget committee this time, or
I can, sure.
well, let's do that.
All right. And this is roll call for the budget committee. Mr. Paul.
Here.
Ms. Steuben. Here. Ms. Sawyer. Here. Ms. Watson. Here. Ms. Perrin. Ms. Wag and Mr. Nesbitt are excused.
Thank you, Mary. We're just going to start right off going through. We're going to start with the cemetery since they are. Hold that thought. Mr. Gardner had something to say, correct?
Yeah, you wanted me to read this?
Please.
Yeah, okay. So we just, good evening, everyone. We appreciate everyone being here with us tonight. We just wanted to remind everyone that while we may express interest or discuss potential support this evening for your cause, no funding decisions will be final until the budget process is complete and formally adopted in June. So things can change depending on what happens after the meeting. We value your contribution to the community and to encourage you to stay engaged throughout the process. So, thank you.
Okay, well, and then one more thing before we officially get jumped into the presentations this evening is we want to receive the MSAD 6 community, the budget for that. So, Scott, if you want to give us a little update on this, not the budget, but an amendment or.
Sure. We received the BAC's estimated budget, which we should probably plug into the budget so that we know where we stand. That was, do you want me to read the amount?
Please.
$14,052,400. And we also received the tax assessment for the county, and that was $995,438.
So we'll need a move and second to add this into the budget. So who'd like to make the motion?
I move that we add this into the budget.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Can we have a roll call on that, please, Mary?
Christie.
Yes.
Deacon.
Yes.
Gardner.
Yes.
Parmelo.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Thank you. That is all of those. So now let's start with the cemeteries. And the first one on the docket for this evening will be the Maplewood Cemetery.
With me first. Good evening. My name is Eric Hobson. I am the treasurer for the Maplewood Cemetery Association, currently on Cape Road in Standish.
Could you speak up just a little bit?
Well, certainly. Yep. Again, my name is Eric Hobson. I am the treasurer for the Maplewood Cemetery on Cape Road in Standish. Our request this year for a contribution is $500. We did sustain some damage in a storm last fall, and we are in the process of trying to negotiate with the insurance company for taking care of those repairs. But it is going to be necessary for us to dip into our endowment for those repairs to take place. But our ask of the $500 is to offset some of that cost.
Just one question I had right off the bat is, I see on our form here it says 700. So you're asking for 700 or 500?
I apologize. The 700 would be the accurate
For the
number.
clarification. I'll open up to other questions from the council at this time. Okay, I don't see any, jumping for questions. Any questions from the budget committee? Okay. I see none. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
The next one on is the Oak Hill Cemetery. Okay. Going once, going twice. Nobody here from Oak Hill? Okay. Thank you. The next one would be the Standish Village Cemetery Association.
Okay. I'm Pam Slattery Thomas, the superintendent of the Standish Village Cemetery. And, excuse me, first of all, I want to thank you profusely for last year's donation. We're finally feel like we're not just treading water, but we've made some progress. We've had, well, as you can see on the sheet, wish I didn't keep for myself. Oh, is there extra? I have an
Here, you
extra.
can take one.
We were able to have 12 gravestones cleaned and 10 restored, many of which, including the merits, which they're not, someone told me they're now upright again, which they were an outstanding family anyway. So, and along with improvements in the maintenance itself and the lawn. We had some bush hogging done around the perimeters so that if there are any requests for cremation, we should be able to accommodate that way. So, as I say, I appreciate very much last year's request and donation. I want to add that we're not the largest cemetery in town. We're not the smallest cemetery in town, or the richest or the poorest. But we are the oldest and the most historic. And we are in the center of your town, our town. And we feel that that in itself needs the respect of support. Some of the clientele there include, like I said, the Merit House, the the first settler, Thomas Shaw. Let's, let's see, and then uh, my father, who was a founder of the Standish Rescue Unit, one of the founders, the original founders. So yeah, there's some pretty well-known people there. On your printout, I've listed what was in our account by at the end of last year. We had we have no, nothing beyond what's shown here. We don't have CDs or money markets or anything like that. So we had at the end of last year, we had $7,122.45. We're, the request this year, and we've gone down, is for $3,750. And we think that will, help us continue the momentum that we already have. Okay, so you pretty much, if you have any questions about what's here, print out, because I don't want to take your time up, going through it, but questions.
Any
I got-
questions? Yeah,
I
go
got
ahead,
a
Phil.
question. I'm pretty sure a few years ago you said that you would have not many plots more to sell, so you can't raise money through that. Is doing 12 cleanings a year and repair, is that enough? Or, I mean, are you gonna get behind sooner or later by just doing 12 at a time? Or,
Well, you see what the cost was for
Right, yeah,
just the
I saw that.
12, yeah, that's why.
well,
we-
Standish has to, own up to the cemeteries, obviously, and sooner or later, probably the town will take over a lot of cemeteries down the road that's coming, so I just want to make sure that we're not neglecting now, and then down the road, have issues down the road, so
Mhm.
I guess it shows you had only $1,400 left in your account last year after expenses. That's not a whole lot. So yeah, I don't know if maybe I might want to move some more money in. I think we need to find out what it's going to take to get these stones up where they should be, so that we're not looking at knee-jerk monies down the road, because, I just want to make sure we're keeping up.
Thank you.
Okay. That's all I have to say.
agree.
Any further questions? Mr. Gardner?
How many total stones do you have?
There are approximately, well, let me see, there are 200 plots, about 650 interments. Okay, and which includes 55 veterans.
12 years, good.
It doesn't mean that all of them need to be repaired, but although over the years they will, but
Any other questions? Question from the budget committee? Go ahead, Lisa.
1/5 acre, the town's front lawn strip, is that for mowing?
yes,
Do you pay for that mowing or does the town cover that?
no, we pay out of what? Donations.
Is there, when they mow, or do they mow around it? Like just skip the cemetery part? Do they mow the roads around it?
Yeah.
They mow around it, but they skip the cemetery?
No,
They mow the roadside, I mean?
yes, the strip is between the road and gate for the
Okay, I
cemetery.
gotcha. All right, thank you.
Any further questions from the budget committee? I don't see any-
May I just ask one question, quick? I know.
You still
I'm
had a
sorry.
minute left when Bill asked you the question, so.
Oh, okay.
Well, quick question, sure.
Just the, your last, meeting, it was brought up about a cemetery, exploratory committee. And some folks heard that and they were on Facebook's Standish community, and they said, oh, there is, or, they'd like to be involved. And so I replied to them and they said, I said, I'll be coming to the meeting tonight and maybe I'll have more information for them. So,
And with another Mr. Deacon
Yeah.
is the,
Yeah,
Or-
I'll make a comment.
yeah, go for it.
So several years ago, the town determined that there should be a cemetery committee, and they determined that there should be a number of people on the committee. And I did speak to the town clerk about this a while back, and there's a need for the appointment committee to nominate more than just me. Last year, unknowingly, it was presented to me that there should be two council members, and so I put in myself and Mr. Parmelo. Since that time, I did more research and found out the original requirement for the town cemetery committee was to have members of the cemeteries, the public, and the town council all together on the committee, multiple people, more than one, more than two. And the council has never, until last year, no one had ever been appointed. I was the first one to ever appoint anyone. And only because it was presented to me that there were two vacancies, I nominated two people. But in fact, we need more people than that. And so the appointment committee should work to appoint additional people so that the committee can appropriately function. So it needs more than two people. It needs members of the community and also members from cemetery associations to be members. That was the original intent of the town. But ever since that happened, there had never been an appointment to the committee until last year. And now, as we get better understanding of it and the historical requirement to have multiple people, that's what we should do going forward. What I would suggest is that I welcome you and others to not only to speak with me, but also to work with the appointments committee to indicate your interest to be members and to seek nomination to the committee.
and we go through. how
So
do we-
my email's on the website. If you email me,
Okay,
I can get it to the right people.
okay, great. Very good.
Thank you.
Among the things to follow up on would be to look for not just donations from the town and the members of your committees as you have done, but other ways to raise resources such as other grants that might be available to work with. And I have some ideas on how to do that, and I'd be glad to, we'll follow up on that as we get together.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
ma'am.
you.
Last cemetery for this evening is the Steep Falls Cemetery.
Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm Jackie Dyer. I have overseen the Steep Falls Cemetery for many, many years now, almost 40. I'm here asking you tonight for more than I ever have asked you for in years gone by. I am requesting the amount of $15,000. When you enter the village of Steep Falls, you are also entering the gateway to Pequawket Trail. In trying to help beautify both the gateway and the village, the cemetery is in need of a new fence to replace the very worn and damaged fence that has been there for probably more than 100 years. The existing fence is rusted and broken in quite a few places and sadly is in a state of disrepair. A member of the Village Improvement Society went to a fence installation company and told them about the fence, what the measurements are, and that it needs to be replaced. We probably would like to replace it with a wire fence that is coated with a black finish, like the ones you see around many of the athletic fields. He was given an estimate of around $15,000. This fence stretches across the entire front of the cemetery that is next to Pequawket Trail. I am not getting any younger, and eventually I will no longer handle the cemetery. I foresee having to turn the cemetery over to the town to maintain, and there are over 200 veterans that are there. I have tried for many years to find a younger person that might be interested in taking over, but that search has not succeeded. We try the best we can to make sure the cemetery is mowed and weed whacked and taken care of. It takes one man about 35 hours to do that and costs us about $600 per mowing. I truly realize that times are tough for many, and no, this is not a necessity. It's more of something for improving the looks of the cemetery and for aesthetic reasons. This is something that vastly would improve the look as well as benefit the gateway to Pequawket Trail. I think of it as both a tribute to the town gateway and an asset to the cemetery and to the village of Steep Falls. That's it.
Questions for Jackie? Bill?
Jackie, I travel through Steep Falls daily.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever drove into the village or come out of the village that I didn't look at that cemetery.
No,
And I'm
me too.
telling you, it has made me sad to see the fence the last few years. And I think this is probably the best spent money we could have for anything, any type of improvements on that corridor, because you can't miss it. It's what, a quarter of a mile long, and I don't even know what's across the street, some houses, I think, but I'm always looking that way. And
That's
I
one
think
of the
that we
first
need
things
to
that you
take care of
see, and a number of years ago, we had a car that went through a big portion of that.
it.
Uncle Harold was alive at the time, and he took that damaged piece of that fence and took it to someone, and they recreated what was there. That cost us, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000, I think, for just that piece. I mean, I've looked at it. It's rusted through. It gets the salt from the road. Let's face it. It's old. It's been there for as long as I can remember, and probably, well over, I'm thinking well over 100 years.
Barry, was that there 100 years ago?
No. Any other questions from the
So
council?
you can't remember if it's
I
there.
used to run around that cemetery when I lived there.
I bet you
during
did.
World War II.
Any questions from the budget committee? Go ahead, Lisa.
I'm not familiar with the fence. Is it currently a wooden fence or is it a metal fence?
No, I actually have a picture.
I believe it's
Screenshotted this
iron.
today, or actually Angela did for me. That is actually a good section of it. It's a cast, it is a cast metal.
Okay. And it, just to replicate, how long was one piece you said it cost 2,000 to replicate? How long is one piece, like 6 feet? 10 feet?
It's probably, I want to say 10 to 12 feet for one piece of it.
And it
Yeah,
is,
and that was probably 30 years ago.
okay. And
So I can't imagine.
it's the one between the cemetery and the roadside? It doesn't wrap around?
No, the fence just runs along the roadway.
Okay. You know about how long it is?
Oh boy, I don't.
No worries.
There are 5 roads there, and those roads are each, I think, 10 feet apart. So
Okay.
let's go 20,
No worries. I'll take a run out, but
saying 300 feet probably.
okay. Thank you so much for that. That's very helpful.
Any further questions from the budget committee? No other questions from the council?
Thank you very much for your time.
Jackie.
This time we're going to move on to libraries, and the first one is the Richville Library.
Good evening. My name is Lynn Knowlton, and I'm representing the many faces and voices of the Richville Library. We celebrated our 100th anniversary and the 14 Osmunda girls who started our first library with a grand Founders Day event in June of 2024, entertaining close to 500 participants. The Dr. and Mrs. Moody made an intelligent investment with the success of this library. However, their later investments did not favor so well when the stock market crashed at the start of the Great Depression. What our little library lacks in the form of an endowment, we make up with our own town's volunteers, excitement, and donations. In the future, we hope to still gain that nest egg that Dr. and Mrs. Moody wish to provide for our self-sufficiency. But until then, we still need to request financial help from our community. 2024 saw that original creative spark and the very positive growth in our community awareness, patronage, community rentals, and social activities. A table was set up at the June polling exit, advertising Founders Day and to sell raffle tickets. We were shocked by how many people did not know Standish had not only one, but 2 libraries. We increased from 6 to 13 open hours per week, adding a new volunteer librarian and training 3 other fill-ins to help cover for illness and vacations. We focused attention to community communication, finding new patrons thrilled that we were open on days that they were available. We have 189 patron cards issued after cleaning up our records. In 2024, we increased by 72 more, with more joining every day. Just last week, 35 patrons came through the library doors, with 21 more using the community room for meetings. We continue to be a host to organizations like the Standish Lions Club, Friendship Cemetery Association, the Standish Historical Society, until their new building is ready, and this year we welcome the Standish Ladies Auxiliary. Rentals in the community room continue to grow, seeing bridal and baby showers, birthday parties, memorials, and social gatherings. The Richville Library hosted a fall foliage bus tour and luncheon with the help of the Standish Rec Bus. Main author book signing meet and greets, social gatherings with Tuesday afternoon tea and games, Thursday storytime fun, and Saturday Richville Readers Book Club. The Richville Library offers books with an efficient, well-rounded library experience that does not end with just books. We also have audiobooks, movies, puzzle swap, 24-hour Wi-Fi access, public computer and printer, and resources for local genealogy and history. A 24-hour book swap box, area physical fitness parking with bathroom access during operational hours, and our parking lot is used as a safe place to wait for the bus, meet people, socialize, and reverse travel direction on busy Route 114. It is also used as a staging point for the ambulance, the fire, the police, as well as construction and electrical line workers. This winter we have taken some risks to get a better understanding of our utility bills and accepted a donation for February and March's electrical bills in exchange of keeping the electric heat on throughout the upstairs of the building. Not only has this improved the library experience for volunteers and patrons, but brought us into the knowledge that we need to do something different. When the library first opened, our archives noted that each trustee donated a cord of firewood to heat the library through the winter. Donating firewood off of one's land was not as much of a financial obligation as it was valuable labor and time. Our trustees' time is donated a little differently these days, but that got us thinking. We priced out several heating systems for better efficiency, as well as solar panels to improve our out-of-pocket costs for the long haul should we stay with electric heat. For now, we decided it is best to maintain and improve the building while we research further and apply for grants to help afford this major improvement. We were asking for $9,500 this year from the town of Standish for attic insulation to increase the 6 inches that was originally installed in 1976. Thanks to a newspaper article, we just found out that a family has come forward and wishes to donate the cost of labor and materials for this project. We hope that this will become a reality in the next couple of weeks. This was estimated at $5,200. The remaining balance of $4,300 is for floor insulation in the children's wing that was not installed during renovations, a basic water filtration system for excess iron removal, books and media focusing on updating our children's section and supporting main authors. You can see in our packet included is how we spent the $4,000 donated last year on computers and printing capabilities. They are a wonderful new resource. The printer has been purchased after the close of 2024, so I have handed out our budget for last year as well as the first quarter so you can see these expenditures. We've been asked by community members who could not attend and those that had attended our Founders Day to host another event in 2025. We appreciate all the help from Standish Historical Society, the Standish Lions Club, the Standish Rec Department, the Standish Fire Department, and the Steep Falls Library, and many other individuals that keep the momentum going. Please join us for our largest fundraising and community event. Remember to save the date for June 28th, 9 to 3 on 2025. Thank you to the town of Standish for your support in the past and in the future. Thank you for this opportunity to speak out about our beloved Richville Library. It truly is a community resource for everyone. Do you have any questions for me at this time?
Scott, now, you said 9,500, is 5,200 of that now being donated?
5,200 is
that
being
down?
donated, so
Are you dropping that down to like 5,000 now? I'm just curious because if you ask for 95 for the insulation and it's getting donated,
right, so we drop it down to 4,300. I hate to even ask about any maintenance thing because I feel that needs to be a self-sufficient type of thing, but we don't have an endowment. We don't have a lot of extra, and I'm getting a lot of pressure from the community to ask for more. But my gut is that I don't want my taxes raised either. So, so we're dropping it down to 4,300. I believe that this will go through. I will know within the week or 2 weeks, and it might actually be installed in that time.
wow.
So I know it's going to take you a little bit of time to do your business.
So if anybody wanted to donate to your library tonight, it could come down even more, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And I was a little nervous when I saw it in the paper myself, and I was like, oh no, there we are in big bold letters. We doubled our amount. But I believe that is what has made it so we had a family from this town has donated that.
Mr. Deacon, you had your hand up for a question?
Yes, the volunteer librarian, is that person certified?
It is my mother. She, she
I
has
understand.
been,
She's certified then.
and she does an incredible job. She
When
did
you're a
not-
mom, you're certified with a lot of things, yeah.
Yes.
I get it.
She never went to college for it. She's been doing it for 30 plus years. It is like magic watching her with the community and how she moves about the library. And she's trained her new librarian assistant, who is also incredible at taxes and everything else.
Right.
So,
So I was just going to say that in
certified.
Maine, the average value of volunteer hours is around $26. There's University of Maryland has an institute that studies volunteerism, and they do this in every state, come up with a value. What is it? How much is it worth when somebody volunteers their time, whether it's cutting wood or something else? And that's $10,000, just there.
Right.
Without all of the other volunteers that are doing things for the library. So the volunteers are already contributing, so that when you're asking for this amount of money, comparatively, you have a lot of other blood, sweat, and volunteer work that you put into it. What libraries are essential to a democracy, whether they're big or small, a community. We actually have 3 libraries that serve us. The third library, which I was going to raise, the North Gorham Library,
North Gorham, yes.
technically in North Gorham, but like a lot of things that have developed historically, whether it's fire departments, mutual aid, the North Gorham Library is next to their fire department, but who covers a lot of Standish activities with their fire department, and we with them, as well as Wyndham and Gorham as well. So there are 3 libraries, and I know how important democracy is, and I know how central libraries are to our democratic and republican form of government. So I do hope that we can continue to support libraries, and I'd like, separate from whatever happens with this budget, to be someone who can be involved in future in thinking out of the box to help you raise money and get funds to meet your needs.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. And in your packet also, some of it I couldn't do, but I did get a spreadsheet. It's the last page of, we had materials that were donated for our Founders Day, whether it be event tents, storyboard printing for our museum, and all sorts of different, the traffic signs from the VIPs, and cones from the Shaw Brothers. So we had over 17,000, almost $18,000 worth of items alone that were donated materials for Founders Day to go off. Donated labor, I have about over $30,000 worth of donated time that we did not have to pay for. I didn't know what to set for the 5 hours, 5 hours of just setup and takedown, and the 6 months of labor of just planning the event. There was a lot of mornings of getting up at 2:30 in the morning and working for a while and going back to bed. So, as you said, how do you put a price tag on that? Our members of our library have always done our own maintenance, usually with volunteer help. We're getting tired and older too, that the installation was just to crawl back up there, put the mask on. It's not something that I can do after having a major surgery that I had this year. So that's
Absolutely amazing.
so thank you.
What's in your money market? I noticed you got that.
Our money market account. That is kind of just like an investment to try to get dividends from. It's not much. So let's see. I don't have a lot of knowledge with how it's something that we've had for many, many years. It's like a CD, I'm assuming. So we have, I guess there is a penalty if that gets taken out.
It's only $4,000.
It's only $4,000. And we usually figure our endowment was $2,000. So that's why we always take that out of our running budget.
Thank you.
Yep.
Is there any questions from the Budget Committee? Any more questions? So
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Now we're going to move on to the Steep Falls Library.
Good evening. I'm Jen Thomas. I'm the president of the Board of Trustees for the Steep Falls Library. This year, we're asking for $20,000 to support our operating budget. Our operating budget is about $58,000 so that we can be open for 2 full days and 2 half days a week. We provide a lot of programs and support for the Steep Falls Village. We have a book group. We are a Maine Health setup area where patients from Maine Health can zoom in and talk to their doctors, and they don't have to travel out of town to do that. We provide support for residents of Steep Falls if they need something. If someone needs food, we'll find the food to get it for them. We'll get the resources that they need. If someone needs help preparing their taxes, we'll help them find that. We've seen an increase in patronage this year. We have Wi-Fi available, and so even if the library is not open, that's available for people to sit in the parking lot and be able to connect to the internet as needed. In addition to our operating budget, we have an old building, and so we are working on doing projects for that old building. Through the generosity of the town council last year, we were able to purchase a generator that is finally in place. We actually got to use it on Monday when the power went out, and we're able to offer a place for people to come in if they needed to charge their devices or access the internet. We do a number of fundraisers during the year. We have a plant sale, we have a cornhole tournament, we have a craft fair, we do a trunk or treat for the residents at Halloween. The town brings down a plow truck, and that's always a big hit with the kids. And we also have some very generous donors. The projects that we're planning for this year, we need to resurface the driveway, we need to repoint the bricks in the building, we need to replace our lower roof. We've discovered that with the advent of having the handicap ramp, we now need a dormer to prevent the snow as it falls off the slate and just fills the handicap ramp. And we also want to make the building a little more efficient and add some heat pumps so we have some more efficient cooling available in the summer for people. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council, Mr. Deegan?
So Steep Falls has its own zip code. Steep Falls once aspired to become a town. It's part of Standish. When you ask people where they're from, many people say they're from Steep Falls, not Standish, because it has a very strong community spirit. The library seems essential to that essence of community for the people within the area of Steep Falls. When you say that it's a focal point for the Steep Falls Village Association, not only as a place to meet, but for the people in that area of our community that say they're from Steep Falls, it's the central focal point where people get together and have that community, sense of community. Is that right?
Oh, I absolutely would agree. And like I said, if someone needs something, we will help them find it. That's not normally what a library will do, but if someone needs help with a will, if someone needs a power of attorney, if someone needs connection with some legal services for the elderly, we'll make that connection for them.
Just wanted to make a point that it's important to the people in Steep Falls. They see their library as very central to who they are and their community. And it's something that the rest of Standish should recognize that, and we should encourage them to work together and help each other. And certainly the library is one of the vehicles to do that. Thank you.
Any other questions from the council this time? Answer questions from the budget committee? Yes, Mrs. Heidi Watson.
Did the library increase their open hours this past year? I just noticed that the wages, the payroll expenses went up about $12,000.
We did give the librarian a raise, a very well-deserved raise.
Yep. The hours stayed the same.
The hours that were open all day on Monday, all day on Tuesday, half day Wednesday, half day Thursday.
Thank you.
Statement, you show just under 50,000 of income.
Yes.
Nothing's identified as endowment income. The first page, your endowment's about $500,000.
Correct. So we take whatever shortfall there is, we will take it from the endowment. I think at the moment we're pulling about $1,800 a month from the endowment to supplement our monthly expenses.
That endowment, stayed consistent around 500,000, or has it been higher than that or lower? Does it
We've been
say?
very fortunate with the market fluctuations that we took money out to do the bathrooms. It dipped below 500,000. The market brought it back up. So we've been very lucky. So it stayed at about 500,000 with the market. And the interest we've been pulling off of it.
Is there any further questions at this time? Okay, thank you.
Could I raise a point of order? Could we consider the North Gorham Library, since we're considering libraries? I'm not sure why they were set off.
It's in there.
It is
We're,
in here, but
we're considering libraries. Why not have library presentation now?
we're just gonna follow the order of, as presented on our list here, just to keep it consistent.
Very well.
for everybody.
Very well.
We're gonna go on to provider agencies. The first one is Day One. Anyone here seating from Day One? Okay. The next one would be the Lifelight Foundation.
Hello. My name is Ashley Macmillan. I'm the Director of Annual Giving at Lifelight Foundation. So I want to thank the town of Standish for their past support, and we are requesting the amount of $2,000 again this year. And just real quick information about Lifelight. So Lifelight of Maine is the state's only air medical and critical care transport provider. We are a statewide nonprofit. We have bases throughout Maine. We are in Sanford, Lewiston, and Bangor. Each one of those bases has a helicopter. They each have a ground ambulance, and then also in Bangor, we have a fixed wing airplane. So we are bringing ICU level care directly to a patient wherever they may be. We've been around since 1998 and have transported more than 40,000 patients, and 29 of those have been Standish residents. Through the foundation, we fundraise for a few capital buckets for Lifelight of Maine. So one of those is fleet. So any of those assets, the helicopter, ground ambulance, and airplane that I mentioned, medical equipment. So each one of those vehicles has over $500,000 worth of medical equipment. So they quite literally are a traveling ICU. In the back of each one of those, there's neonatal isolates, there's ventilators, a full lab, we carry blood. Another bucket is infrastructure. So that is like helipads, landing zones, and just anything that we may need or other pilots may need to kind of safely traverse the skies. And then also education. So that's education of our crew and our partners in EMS. And then this year we implemented a new program, and it's called the Elevate program. And it essentially is crew wellness. And so folks in EMS, they see awful and terrible and scary things. Local EMS, they don't see their worst calls every day, but our folks at Lifelight, the local EMS, that is the call they're getting 24/7, 365. They are seeing the worst of the worst. People are very sick. People are very ill. And we know that for them to be able to continue to take care of Mainers, we have to take care of them. So we're proud of that program. It's new. We just hired our own licensed clinical social worker and started a peer support program. So that's kind of one of our new funding buckets this year that we're very proud of. Happy to answer any questions.
I'll open up to questions from the council at this time. Any questions from the budget committee? Go ahead, Lisa.
It says here since 1998, you've transported 29 residents from Standish.
Yeah.
It's about 1.07 people per year.
Yeah, and we did not have any last year, so that's just in the since 1998. I live close by. I live in Wyndham. Living in Southern Maine, we're fortunate that we have those medical facilities like Maine Med close by. But people travel, and then it's not just about how close we are. Like, we are bringing that ICU directly to a patient. So if something happens right down the road and, they need a ventilator right away, like it's the difference of being treated while at the scene versus while, the transport time. So I think maybe fortunate that there's only been 29 residents, but we're there whenever but anybody needs it.
On the front page for other funding sources, you list individual donors, other foundations, and main communities. But number 6 on one of your pages says you also operate like a hospital. You bill insurance companies. Do you get money from insurance companies as well?
Yeah, so Lifelight of Maine and Lifelight Foundation are two separate but very intertwined organizations. So Lifelight of Maine does operate similar to a hospital, and the first line is that they are billing insurance. There's, we're in network with all major payers: Maine Care, Medicare, Anthem, you name it, and so the bill, of course, first goes to insurance, and then if something is not paid, all these transports are medically necessary because they're critically injured. So we don't see that like an insurance is going to say no, it's not medically necessary. But each year we have a bucket of charity care and also just like uncompensated care. So last year we had $2.8 million in uncompensated care of people who were like underinsured or not insured or just flat out couldn't pay their bill. And then, you want me to keep going?
No.
Okay. I was just going to talk more about, and then the foundation raises for capital expenditures for Lifeline Maine. So each year we raise about like $4.5 million for fundraising.
And I have one last question. On the map that you gave us, it says 16 counties since 2004. So from 2004 to 2024, that's 20 years. Cumberland County donated 67,000. And that's an average of $3,366 per year from Cumberland County. And you're asking us to donate 59% of that for all of Cumberland County?
Well, so the community giving program started in the like late 2000s. So that actually, it's been since inception. So each year in the fall, we do reach out to every single municipality in Maine and we ask for their support. And we have a formula. It's 25 cents, 50 cents, or $1 per capita with a max ask of $2,000. And it's more just the buy-in. And as I mentioned, we're working hard in Southern Maine to just have people understand that, yes, we're close to Maine Med, but the need is still there. So that's definitely one area that we can grow is down in Southern Maine. We see a lot of, support from small towns up in the county, little tiny island town. The town of Cranberry Isle has donated like $30,000 themselves. So it's just trying to slowly get there. And definitely in Southern Maine is where we have a lot of room to grow.
I've got one comment. 29, that means 29 people probably lived in Standish because Lifelight doesn't get called if our ambulances think they can make it to the hospital with this patient alive. So I'm glad we didn't have anybody last year.
Yeah.
But I know that when you're called, if you're not coming, that person's probably not going to make it. We have 29 people that are probably alive today or because of this service that's provided to us.
Yeah.
Any other questions from the council or the budget committee? I don't see any, so thank you.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Time we're going to go to the Maine Public Television, if anybody's here. Maine Public Television. Okay.
I have a question.
Yes.
So usually when donations are made to public television or NPR, those groups, Maine Public, there is usually some kind of a benefit. And if there is a donation, I would hope that the benefit that comes to it is passed on to one of our libraries to use. Just trying to make that comment. Thank you.
Thank you. The next one is NAMI, Maine. Anybody here from NAMI? I don't see anybody, so we're going to move on to Opportunity Alliance.
Hey there. My name is Anna Roberts. I'm the Foundation and Corporate Relations Associate for the Opportunity Alliance. And sorry, I just got dental work done, so I'm a little numb still. but I want to thank the town of Standish for having us. We are asking for $3,000 again to serve the clients that live in Standish, Maine. We are a basic needs organization. We help people find safety, stability, and health. So the programs that we serve are helping people find their basic necessities like food, get emergency assistance for heating or energy costs. We are helping mothers and families with food needs. We the as of right now, we get funding from federal as well as state typically, but we are struggling at this point in time. We are a larger nonprofit, and people see our numbers and feel as though that is not representative of the clients that we serve. We serve over 24,000 clients in the state of Maine and over 600 in the town of Standish. From our clients just asking to find resources to people that are homeless or having mental health crises. We are helping anyone and everyone in between, from pregnant mothers, sorry, this microphone's hot, from pregnant mothers all the way to seniors. So we are modestly asking for $3,000 to those programs and services that are for Standish residents.
Mr. Deacon?
Thank you for coming tonight. I know, but I'm not sure everybody knows what 211 is. One of the entities that you're involved in is 211. 211 is nationwide. Could you just tell people what 211 is and why it's important?
Yeah, 211 Maine, specifically for Maine, is a statewide hotline, essentially. So anyone that is calling to figure out if they can get benefits or how to find housing or food, anything. It is a hotline to get people connected to information. As we are going through this age of technology, a lot of people don't know where to find the necessities that they need, and 211 directs them directly to the people that can offer those services to them. A lot of the services that we provide can be in-house because we are a larger nonprofit that deals with many different pillars of service. But 211 Maine directs people to where they need to go to get the help that they need.
In the old days, there used to be the yellow pages, but we don't
Yeah.
got those books now. So, but people used to look at the yellow pages for, search for where do I go, who do I call, what is out there. The yellow pages was there. At least you could physically, and you could find it at the library, but it isn't. And now, I mean, we have a great country. There are a lot of resources and people doing many things to help each other, but we don't know who's next door doing what. And people, our democracy, our Republican form of government is a great way which we have a social contract to help each other. And one of the things that our government does is through United Way and other groups such the Opportunity Alliance, 211 is a nationwide program to help people find the resources that they need. So when you say you help people in Standish, you really do, because there is no place else as a central resource where you can go to find out, I live alone, I'm hungry, I'm cold, who can be my next friend?
Yeah.
You are that next friend. You are the ones that people call when they have nobody else, and you can help them find the resource that they need. You work with so many other groups that you are the catalyst. Without you leverage the power of other agencies by being a conduit to know who else is out there and what is out there, so that when people need, they can go to you, they can call 211, and they can get the help you need, whether it's for food, heat, health issues, or so many other things. So the 211 aspect of just being there to answer people's questions, the next friend, that's critically important, and I thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
Any further questions, Mr. Parmalone?
Anybody that doesn't realize what you do for this town needs to read page 2. That's all they need to do. It's amazing what the Opportunity Alliance does for the town of Standish. So I'd like to thank you personally.
There's questions on the budget committee, Ms. Heidi Watson.
And I just want to say thank you very much for all the Standish specific statistics.
Yeah.
It was a great improvement from last year, and thank you for doing all that work, getting all that.
Yeah, it
It
was
took a lot of time.
Yeah, it was a little bit of work, but hopefully it's worth it.
Appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Any further questions from the budget committee? Further questions from the council group? Thank you.
I did read your email about your dental work, so I appreciate you having a tough day and coming in, so
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
just came right from there.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
At this time, is there anybody here from the Southern Maine Agency on Aging? Okay, nobody here from the Southern Maine Agency on Aging, okay? We are going to go to Through These Doors.
How is everyone doing tonight? Thanks for having me. Jen LaChance, I'm the Director of Advocacy and Victim Services for Through These Doors. I think I've been here for the last maybe 10 years or 15 years, not to age myself, but I just want to thank you for having us here. Through These Doors is the local domestic violence resource center for Cumberland County, Maine. We are asking for $2,500 this year to help support the survivors and victims that we see and their families who are living in Standish. I wanted to share with you a couple of numbers that we have that I think would be helpful. In last year, we received 6,831 helpline calls. We have a 24-hour helpline that's staffed for 365 days a year that anyone can call at any time. So when the person before us was talking about 211, we do a lot of work together with 211 because a lot of people are calling. 211 refers folks to us when they're in need of safety or safe homes or things like that. And we refer a lot to 211. So I just want to share, I love hearing other people's doing the work because their work is very important too. I also want to share that with that, we worked with 2,856 unduplicated individuals last year. In Standish last year, it's reported that we worked with 46 individuals. Each year it differs. So some years I come here, it's 43 people. Sometimes it's 75 people to 80. It depends. What I will say though, our finance director shared with me that of the 2,800 folks that we work with, about half of them, we don't collect their data on their demographics and where they live. So I want to share that with you because I think that's really important because our services are confidential and they're free. And there's not an expectation for us to track that with specific towns. We're going to help anyone who calls our helpline service. And we're not going to deny them if we think they're in our catchment area or if they're from a specific town in Maine. So I just wanted to share that with you. I also, with our program, I just want to share a couple of things. We work with 46 individuals, what we've stated, but what I want to say about that is 46 individuals, and when I dug a little deeper, a person can come to our organization and work with us one time, call us for a helpline call, and just kind of check in to see if what we're all about and if it's safe for them to call us. But then we also, I know we worked with someone last year that we had 138 contacts with. And those services could be anywhere from shelter services where they stayed a night at our shelter to 6 months in our shelter with children, to our core advocacy program and helping people filing protection orders, working with Cumberland County Sheriff's Office to file police reports, going to the Bridgeton District Court to get a final protection from abuse order, or attending one of our support groups. So I just want to share that with you because if you break it down that way, we have individuals that are using our services repeatedly regarding a circumstance, and our hopes are to be able to help them safely move out of that situation and to start healing and for some hope. But I just wanted to share those pieces with you of some of the work that we do, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if that's.
Any questions? Mr.
You
Deacon?
got one. How many calls do we get through the sheriff's department?
A lot. So we have a program through the Sheriff's Department where in 2010 we created a program, and actually Standish was very instrumental in that too, doing the work with the town of Standish and holding space here, where we receive we should be getting every single domestic violence report from Cumberland County. So it could be a no crime, so there could be like a verbal in a parking lot where a bystander calls and says these two people are fighting, and a deputy may come and make a report and say it's no crime, but we're going to send this over through these doors so we can do follow-ups. So within that, we usually get between 600 and 800 police reports from Cumberland County Sheriff's Department where we're actively trying to do follow-ups in a safe way. And so some of them also could be where it was an arrest and the perpetrator is currently in jail, and we will try to make follow-up in person with the deputy if it's possible. If not, we are at least getting those reports from Cumberland County Sheriff's Office where we can do those follow-up services. Because I'm going to take, it's super important that we do that type of program too, because typically it's about 50% of homicides in the state of Maine are domestic violence related. And so what we found year and year again over is that victims and children of those crimes were not connected to domestic violence resource centers. And so for us, it was really important for us to be like, we need to get ahead of this. And so for us, it was working with our local law enforcement departments to say, if you have anything that smells like domestic violence or stalking or trafficking, send them our way so we can try to be a bridge to create support systems.
Thank you.
Sorry, that was a long-winded answer, but.
Mr. Deacon.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, because I wanted to make the point, as you are making, that you deal with victims who are often subjected to very awful physical abuse. And it's underreported, and there are many victims that are afraid to come forward. There are a lot of factors that it's not just those that come forward that you treat, but you have to, there are so many, not just the individuals, but they have children. And so you may serve a person, but that person is central to the caregiving of others, their children. So that your organization, you represent a help to people who often are very afraid to seek help. People who, when they seek help, often become targets because they sought help, and that rely on the public safety officials like the Cumberland County Sheriff's Office and others to help protect them because of the very idea that they took the step to seek help. And so as an underreported problem in our society, it's very important that you get the services and support you need to help people that are afraid to come forward, and when they do come forward, are in need of critical help to protect them from really severe harm.
Thank you for saying that. I think it's just important, even being in this space too, to talk about it and say it. So like if people know that, then they know more about Through These Doors and how to like reach out to us too. So thank you for that. Thanks.
Mr. Gardner, you had a question?
I don't really have a question anymore, more of a comment. I just wanted to say thank you for what you do. As a child growing up in a home dealing with these issues, it's near and dear to my heart. So I just want to say thank you for coming here and what you do.
Thank you. And thank you for sharing that because it's so important for people to say that. So thank you for that. Appreciate you.
Questions from the Budget Committee? Yes, go ahead.
Hi. I would just like to formally invite you guys to the Standish Summer Spectacular. It's August 2nd. We had tried to get you guys a booth there last year.
And you know why? Because we didn't have any staff to do it, but we hired someone. I just want to tell you that. Told the food pantry folks too. Yeah.
August 2nd, setup starts at 1
Thank
o'clock
you.
for any time in the morning.
You got it.
We'd love to have your presence.
We will be there. We got a staff person to do it now.
Plug.
Any other questions from the Budget Committee?
Okay. Thanks all.
Thank you.
Very good.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to move on to the Woodford Family Services.
Hello, I'm Shelby LaForge from Woodford's Family Services. We are requesting $500 from the town of Standish. It's the same that we've requested year over year, and we appreciate your support in past years. We currently serve 30 residents in the area, and the most utilized service is our behavioral health homes and adult case management. So that's kids case management and adult case management for individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. And so that is just really connecting residents with all of the resources that they need from all the provider agencies that they may need them from. The $500 we request every year goes to our case management emergency fund that truly provides basic needs assistance in times of financial emergency to your residents. Last year, I stood up here and told you a story of a
family whose child with autism was eloping in the middle of the night. So if you can imagine, you wake up in the middle of the night, your front door is open and your child is gone. We put in some locks, some money towards the security for that, and the family's doing much better. This year we've helped with heating costs, food access, and car repairs. And so that is what we would use the funds for again this year. Any questions?
How many cases do you have a year?
We have 30 residents that we currently serve, and we discharge on a revolving basis.
Any other questions from the council? Any questions from the budget committee? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So this time we're going to go to the Fuller Center.
Good evening. While Karen's passing those out, I'm Diane Dunton Bruni, and I'm the president, founding member, and board chair for the Sebago Lakes Region Fuller Center for Housing, which is a mouthful. And as we're here today, we're asking for your support. The housing crisis is real, and our mission is to simply offer hope for seniors and veterans and people with disabilities who want to age in place safely. What we provide is hope. Many seniors and veterans today are isolated. They don't have family members that are living locally anymore, and yet they want to remain in their homes. They have cherished memories there, but they can no longer do the repairs themselves. And there aren't a lot of places to turn. So we provide services in terms of repairing roofs. We build ramps. We replace decks. We replace windowsills. We do interior work. We don't do anything that is aesthetics. We want to make sure somebody is safe. So if somebody's in their home and they have a walker and they're trying to get from room to room, but they're tripping, then we're going to help them figure that out. If we have somebody who is in need from a leaky faucet, we may not have a plumber, but we'll find the plumber. We're an organization that has been in existence since 2019, and we're in the Windham, Raymond, and Standish area. And over the time, most of our families have come from Windham and Raymond, although we have continued to try to spread the word in Standish. Last year, we helped 3 families in the Standish area, and right now we have 3 projects for more families in Standish. And we're an organization that labor is free. And I say that again, labor is free. It's all volunteers, unless we need an electrician or some specific expertise that our volunteers do not have. And a lot of times contractors will give us a discount. Our request is for $5,000. It is for the cost of materials to go towards the projects that we're working on. And as you know, materials for construction are going up, and they're only going to go up higher. As we look at what we're doing and what we're trying to do, the families that we support, it's more than us just repairing a deck or fixing the roof. We become part of their family. We follow up with them. If they have other resources they need, we'll find a resource for them. We'll keep in touch with them to find out how they're doing. If they've just come home from the hospital and they need a ramp, we find out, how are you doing since you came home from the hospital? This is not a hand out, though. This is a hand up. The families pay a portion of materials that they can afford. And that's called a greater blessing, because they get to keep dignity. they get to, in essence, they help with the next project. And they know they're helping somebody else. And yet we're helping them in the moment. So it may seem like a lot, but we want to deepen our relationship with the Standish community. We're already into conversations, hopefully, to be able to bring some volunteers together and help the Historical Society as they do rebuilding. Now you can say, well, wait a second. That's not what you do. Yes, it is, because it's part of the community. We did a community service in Wyndham, and we built the pavilion that's next to the fire station on Route 202. And the reason is because seniors could go and watch their grandchildren. And we feel that if we can be more part of the Standish community by helping out with the Historical Society or finding more families that get referred to us, then we can deepen that relationship and help more people, veterans and seniors and people with disabilities, stay safely in their homes. Thank you for your time, and I open myself up to questions.
Mr. Deegan?
The state of Maine has identified housing as a statewide crisis. I mean, a real crisis that
Yes.
anybody who's ever tried to find a place to live will appreciate how difficult it is. There just isn't enough housing. In reality, you're essentially a one of a kind. Is that right?
Yes. We are the only one in New England, the only Fuller Center in New England.
So when people are looking for help to stay in place, to work with somebody to find a way to live in their home, to make it work, you are the one place that they are to do a lot of the getting resources, getting the experts, getting the labor. And I thank you for that. Roughly how many volunteers do you have?
We have right now, we have about 170 volunteers in our database. And since we started in 2019, we've helped 78 families. And remember, COVID hit, so we couldn't go inside. And 4,400 volunteer hours. Free labor, just helping.
So at $26 an hour, that's over $100,000 in donated services. That's significant that a lot of people depend upon. Thank you.
We have no paid staff.
Right.
I'm the, general bottle washer, take the calls, hammer. I know how to build decks. We are all volunteer. And we get our funds from grants like this and from community awareness. We have no government funding.
Thank you.
Mr. Gardner?
Good evening. So you said you have 3 families right now that you're trying to work with within the town of Standish. Do you know what those projects are going to consist of? How much money those projects are going to take out of this 5,000? Is it going to be the whole 5,000 or,
We don't have all the estimates in right now because we get the estimates in once we assess each different family. And usually what happens, John, is that our busy time is May to December. Now we're getting calls in the winter. So we're gearing up, we're getting the information now. The money that we're asking for will go beyond those families. And that's what we want, because sometimes it is just rotting door sills or a storm door that won't shut anymore. And we have to replace that. Others are much larger. And we want this so we can really help more people in Standish. We've been to the senior center, talked to them, and said, tell people.
I'm a senior.
He's heard my spiel.
That'll lead to my second question. You said you want to do more in Standish. To be honest, I never heard of your organization, and I think it's a wonderful idea. It's an awesome organization. How do you advertise, and how do you even get referrals? How do you go about that to get into Standish?
It is by going to the senior center. I've been there a couple times sharing stories. It is also going to the town like
Yeah,
this.
so
and
our GA is
speaking.
very aware,
Yeah.
and so we would reach out as we get requests, we would reach out.
We also, somebody might see their neighbor in need and they pick up the phone and call. And the person, because Mainers have so much dignity, they don't want to ask for help themselves. But a neighbor says, hey, I know this person really needs help. And we'll say, get permission. We'll contact them, but just please get permission. And then once we start the relationship, then we can help.
Excellent. And as a veteran, do you deal with the Veteran Center in Wyndham?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with that. Any other questions from the council? Open up the questions from the budget committee. Oh, sorry.
You were ignoring this end of
I
the
didn't see
room.
your hand, sir.
She was in the way. I gotta give a plug to Barbara. She's seen through the seniors what you do and the money that we give and help them. Barbara probably will go into detail, and it's very good. And I see some people here that may be members of the area right now. And follow and Bobby, tell us what we do in the seniors. You people do your job. It's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Lisa.
One question. For the trash disposal, do you have access to Wyndham and Raymond as well?
Yes, and we've just worked it out that if we're doing a project in Standish, that we can have that as a resource for the Standish.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
We have discussed that in-house and with John Cross, and staff asked to just have that be a part of this donation form, so thank you for doing that.
Any other questions from the budget committee? Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're going to go to the miscellaneous associations, and the first one is the Saco River Corridor Commissions.
Hello. Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. Thank you, councilors, budget committee. My name is Sherry Dunning. I am the executive director at the Saco River Corridor Commission. Our budget request to the town of Standish is $1,000. That amount, along with past year's donations from Standish, goes directly to our water quality testing program. We test 43 sites along the Saco, Ossipee, and Little Ossipee rivers. We're looking at basic water quality, lab-tested nitrogen and phosphorus parameters, and levels of harmful bacteria such as E. coli. This is over 130 river miles in Maine that the Saco River Corridor Commission oversees. We cover 20 municipalities, and to those municipalities we provide the raw data if they would like to see it. We also provide that data to the Maine DEP. We also provide E. coli alerts should we find an E. coli reading at a particular site that goes above state thresholds. We also provide an annual report, which you should have received with our budget request. We send those to the town every year, summarizing the data because we recognize that it's difficult to look at the raw data and draw conclusions. So we have our water quality coordinator put that together for the towns annually. So why test? The Saco River is one of the most highly recreated rivers in the state of Maine. Along with its two major tributaries, the Ossipee and Little Ossipee, it sees so much activity during the summer in particular, and people are in the water, doing their thing, having a great time. They would love to know that the water is safe. Obviously, you won't be drinking it straight out of the river, but there is a great number of people, Saco and Biddeford residents in particular, that do drink the river water after proper filtration and treatment. So the Saco River Corridor Commission was set up in 1973, this legislation in place to protect the 500 to 1,000 feet away from the river and make sure that the water flowing down these rivers reaches the people that drink it in a drinkable condition, and that recreation is protected by maintaining that high level of water quality. So, so the water quality testing program really helps to tell us, are these regulations enough? Are these protections on the river that were set up in 1973, are they working? Without this data, we would simply be guessing that probably the water's fine. So this water quality program, which the SRCC started voluntarily in 2001, it's not mandated by statute. We do this as a complement to our land use regulatory program where we administer the Saco River Corridor Act. The commissioners, the commission is made up of up to 2 representatives from every town, and the town of Standish is very lucky to have Dave Robinson, who's here with me tonight, and George McNeil, both longstanding members, very reliable members of the commission that help to review applications for development near the river and make sure that those uses are compatible with having a healthy river. So the water quality program, again, was started just to make sure that we can answer that question. Are these protections enough? Are we doing enough to protect the river? We test 3 sites that are relevant to Standish. 2 are on the Saco, and 1 is on the Little Ossipee. We estimate the cost of testing those sites annually to be $3,450. To support the program and keep it going, we are asking each municipality up and down the rivers to contribute approximately 1/3 of the overall cost of their local testing sites. So this year we are requesting $1,000. Are there any questions?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You got it.
How many sites do you have?
In total, we test at 43 sites. Not all the sites have the same parameters. Some are very basic water quality monitoring, and some have the full suite of parameters, some of which get sent to the University of New Hampshire for lab testing.
Right. Standish has always had representation as long as I've been in the town.
As far back
They
as
do a
our
good
records
job.
go.
Right.
It's a very good thing, too. We unfortunately have at least 5 towns along the corridor right now that do not have representation at all. So that reliable presence on the commission is very helpful to us and very good for your community.
Yes, Mr. Deacon?
Except for perhaps near the mouth of the river, most of the communities along the river do not have their own wastewater treatment centers. Is that right? So the water, obviously, if you have wastewater treatment, that will have its own water quality testing and actions. Yet most of the other communities, since they don't have that type of facility, including Standish, there is nothing that's done to make sure that the river, as you said, is safe. What does the Portland Water District do that you work with? Is there any interplay between you and the water district?
Not directly, no. The Portland Water District doesn't have any interaction with the commission on a regular basis. We do receive a stream of funding through the Maine Water Company. The legislature added something to the Saco River Corridor Act in 1995 to direct 1% of the sale of water from the Saco River to helping to fund the commission's operations. And we take actually a subset of that amount that we get from Maine Water annually to help partially fund the water quality testing that we do.
So I don't know exactly the catchment area for the water district versus the river, but maybe they're at least neighbors. There may be a line that they share, and neighbors ought to talk to each other. I would just encourage you to reach out to the water district if they have not reached out to you, to find ways to work together, because they are a large entity. They get public support from a variety of communities, and they ought to work in collaboration with you for water quality, as neighbors should. And if they are not, I wouldn't consider them a good neighbor.
I will look into that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other council questions? Any budget questions? Yes, go ahead, Lisa.
Can I get a copy of your fiscal year 24 profit loss? You had mentioned it would be in the packet, but I didn't find it.
Oh, my apologies.
No worries.
If it was not sent along, I will make sure that you get it tomorrow.
Thank you.
Further question from the budget? Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll have the Standish Active Seniors.
Thank you for the opportunity to submit my request on behalf of the Standish Active Seniors. My name is Barbara Kelly, and I'm president of the group. We're very grateful for your very generous donation last year. The first year I made my request, we had a membership of 36. We have grown to 121 members this year. Thankfully, they don't all come at the same time. We average about 55 to 60 attendees at each meeting, depending on the meal and the entertainment. Last fall, we tried to promote seniors. We participated in the Standish Summer Spectacular. We were in the parade, and we had a booth at the fair. We will always accept new members, but we've decided to curtail the promotion before we throw ourselves out of a meeting room. We're getting so large now, it's getting kind of close. Due to rising grocery costs, we will need to raise our meal prices in September to $10 for members and $12 for guests. Norma is our cook, and she has really jumped in with both feet and done a fabulous job with our meals, especially since she didn't even know she was going to be asked to do the cooking. On meetings she can't cook, we've catered from Hannaford sandwiches, Oramatos, and got pasta. A couple of times we had a brown bag. You bring your own sandwich in, and a couple of our members made homemade chicken soup, and it was delicious. And then we had rolls, and of course we have volunteers each meeting that bring dessert, so they had plenty to eat. So we still provide our information table. We have forms on wills and advance directives. We have calendars with all current events and announcements of all things going on and what's going on in Standish Rec. We also have safety information and handyman guides. Last year I brought a handyman guide, and I should have brought one this year because I've added so much to it. It isn't just handyman. We have all kinds of safety information in it, numbers to call. We have information on Fuller House in there. They came and spoke last year. We have information on It Takes a Village. We also have information on who to call if you have a problem with your central main power or emergency numbers. And we also have a whole bunch of information on 211 in there and other anything that they need to know. We even have a page in there on how to contact unclaimed money. So if somebody wants to call and see, then that they can find that out. We try to give them as much information as on anything that we think they'll need, and we maintain that table and try to keep it updated. The cost for entertainers has also gone up. Most all of them are asking for a minimum of $200 now. We used to just pay $150, but it's, especially since COVID, they all have been going up, and now most of them are asking $200. To keep costs down, at least half of our entertainment is games or informational. We've had places like Fuller House. We've had the Standish Historical Society. We have One Eagle Chorus come, which is wonderful. And we've had information on Medicare. And we do that at least once a month so that we only have an entertainer once a month, so that keeps costs down.
You have eagles too.
Yes, well, that's not free. Yes, we're having the Owls of Maine come this week, so I'm sure we'll have a full house. There's a lot of positive feedback from everyone, members, even the entertainment. They love the atmosphere, they love the group, and they always ask me if I'd like to have them come back because they like to come there. So That's a good feeling to know that even the entertainers like us. So, at this time, we'd like to request $1,000 from the budget to help maintain a memorable and enjoyable experience for Standish seniors. And thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Deacon.
In terms of demographics in the state of Maine, seniors are probably the largest single demographic group.
Yeah.
And that's probably true in every community, including Standish. The name of your group is Standish Active Seniors. There are seniors that are less active, and in what ways do you engage any of them?
They just come and enjoy themselves. When I say active, I think active means getting out and joining people. It doesn't mean you have to run a race or do anything. You just need to be active and socialize. At our age, socialization is extremely important. So just getting them out, making sure they have a good meal, and lots of entertainment and friends.
Friendship, food, and fun.
Yes.
Those three.
I think that keeps them active.
So do you have mechanisms to those that have trouble getting to your events? Do you in any way find ways to help people?
We have people that don't drive. If we find people to pick them up if they want to come. There's always somebody that lives in their area that would be glad to pick them up. We've had several people that couldn't drive, or their relatives bring them. It's all they got to do is call. I'll find a way.
I would find it hard to resist any group that says they're full of fun, friends, and food.
Yes.
Thank you for what you do.
Okay.
Bob, can I add another point?
Yes.
Not just Standish residents that are members.
No.
The word is out there, and how many do we have from surrounding community?
Well, I passed out a member list, and there's a couple from Westbrook. They come to Standish for the Standish rec, for the trips and stuff like that. And on the rec trips, they hear us all talking, so they wanted to join. We have another girl from Westbrook. She used to bring her sister there. And her sister has since gone into a nursing home. And
Wyndham.
We have Wyndham people. They've heard it's a great place, and it's a good place, and it's a good time. So we have a lot of people coming around. And like I said, we won't ever stop, but we need to stop advertising.
A lot of laughing, too.
Yes.
Any questions?
Mostly at me.
From the Budget Committee?
Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we have the Standish Historical Society.
Good evening. I'm Bruce Douglas, and I'm the president of the Historical Society. A lot has happened since we met last year at this time. The Historical Society chased the Old Town Hall to no avail. Unfortunately, it was going to require too much work for necessary repairs immediately, and it was too expensive. And then we ended up going after the 9 Oak Hill Road, which we call the Dolph House. And we were successful. So we have purchased a house in downtown Standish. The first job we have is to clean it out. It's interesting condition. Our mission is to preserve and protect Standish history and present. We still have the museum. We'll always have the museum in the old red church. But our plan is to move the archives to the top floor of the Dolph House. I should give you a brief history of the Dolph House. Apparently it was built about 1851 by Francis Tomes, who purchased it from Joseph Thompson of the Thompson House, the old landmark where the Webster's service station is now. He sold it to, in 1857, he sold it to a Catherine Lane, who in 1870 sold it to E.W. Finney. Not E.W., I'm sorry, O.K. Finney. O.K. Finney was a prosperous shopkeeper in the buildings that are still there, along with E.W. Dolliff. Finney bequeathed the property to Orrin Dolliff, his namesake. And Orrin lived there from 1915 until his death in 72, and his family owned it until, I think, 81. Now, the building has been not in use for the last 3 years, so it's going to require quite a bit of work. And I'm not here to ask for that. What I'm asking for is a donation to help us move our archives when the time comes. That occupies an entire room. There's tens of thousands of pieces of paper, thousands of photographs, textiles that will all house in a conditioned environment. Obviously, the old red church does not have either air conditioning or heat, so all our town records are at the mercy of whatever temperature it is and humidity. It's fared fairly well, but this will be a big upgrade for that. The bottom floor we hope to use for meetings for us, for other groups. We have talked to the American Legion because they need a space, but nothing's been decided yet. Still early. We bought it on the 30th of January. And plans for other activities are still taking shape. So I'm hoping for your support tonight. Any questions?
Questions?
Can I make a comment again?
Absolutely.
You got a good book out there too on the history.
Thank you.
I'll give you a little plug there. I was looking at that today, but I fell asleep.
It's all short stories, so you can fall asleep and wake up.
I have a reason to do that after 6 days main med. But it's very interesting, and my wife purchased the big one and the small. Thank you for that contribution.
It's what happens when you sit in front of all those little pieces of paper for hours and hours and hours. You find interesting things.
Exactly. All of a sudden, you feel like a true station person.
I'll turn it over to the budget. Any questions from the budget committee? Yes. Yeah.
I've read both of your books and they are marvelous and very interesting. I would plug it immensely for anyone who's interested in history and also the crimes of Standish. 300 years were amazing. So
Did you fall asleep?
not fall asleep. Interesting. Very interesting.
There's one for you.
Thank you.
There's no other questions, and thank you.
Thank you.
Steve Falls Farmers Market.
Good evening. I'm Jill Andrews, and I am the secretary at Steep Falls Farmers Market. And we have several of our farmers and another community member who also serves as our treasurer here this evening. Hello. John makes amazing chocolate. Sue does our books. Spencer's a great farmer. His overwintered spinach is something I learned about last year. So good, you should come to the first market. And Julie is like the jack of all trades. She's the assistant market manager, a farmer. She has the seedlings in the spring and also is a crafter. So
we have good representation here. I've had the pleasure of being part of the farm market for about 6 years. I started with my daughter, who was 15 and wanted to start selling jewelry, and they were a welcoming group for a young entrepreneur. And now she's no longer a minor, so I decided to just become a community member and support. And I've moved on to the steering committee. We would like to thank you so much for the donation last year. It was very much appreciated and is going to really help us move forward with doing some additional advertising and into the community and just supporting all of the different things that we do. Some of the ways that we support the community our farmers accept a variety of different funding sources. We participate in bumper crop, the SNAP and EBT programs, harvest bucks, the senior farm share, and we've just learned about a new program called Sun Bucks, which apparently is for children, and we will be accepting that. And I don't unfortunately know a whole lot about that program, but we're learning more, and I can get you more information if you need that. So one of our new projects this year is we're reaching out through the school departments through their backpack program to try to get information out about the fact that we do accept the EBT and SNAP benefits. And we're working to just increase our kind of presence in the community by advertising more. We need some signs. We would like to put flyers out in like some of our local businesses, campgrounds, that type of thing, to get more people to come to the market. This year we have at least 6 farmers with 4 to 5 more that are in the process of filling out their applications, getting all the licenses and stuff that they need. We have 5 seasonal crafters, which means that they'll be there almost every Saturday. And we have an additional 5 crafters that have signed up for our Crafter Saturdays, which are the first Saturday of every month. And all of this takes place at the Gazebo Park in Steep Falls. And
Barbara, have you guys connected? That would be a good little partnership or visit to the senior day.
every Saturday in May through October.
But no, to come to when they have their group in the auditorium to enlighten them and maybe bring some samples. This is what we do and offer. It might be a nice trip for local people who don't know about it.
That'd be awesome. Okay, yeah. So I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. Thank you. We have a calendar of events. We start May 3rd this year and we end October 11th. October 11th, each of the vendors, farmers, crafters, et cetera, that are there contribute to a potluck to thank all of our loyal customers throughout the year. So that's one of our favorite events. We have Chocolate Day, Farm Animal Day, Crafter Day, Master Gardener Day. Julie's husband Mike shows us how to inoculate logs with mushrooms to grow our own mushrooms. So there's lots of educational offerings for the community, just fun get-togethers. We have some food trucks coming this year, which are always a hit, and we have some really great musical entertainment that takes place in the gazebo. Not every weekend, but many weekends. So, and we would like to ask for $1,200 again this year to help support mostly that printing and marketing and that kind of stuff.
And I see a hand for a question.
So Maine, like many places, imports a lot of food from out of Maine, far away places, even on different continents. But you provide something that's very special because it's local food, fresher, it's healthy, and it supports the local economy. It supports our neighbors, people that live with us, that live and work on the farms that produce the food and just help distribute it. So
and it tastes better.
It tastes better because it's
fresher.
fresh, right? And you have a variety of it's not just vegetables. It can be cheeses and lots of other things. Could you tell us a little bit about the variety of the food?
Sure. So we have the fruits and vegetables, seasonal. We have egg vendors. We have, I believe this year we have chicken, pork, and beef vendors, maybe not every weekend, but rotating through. Help me out, you guys. John's Baked Goods. Honey and maple syrup from local farms. And I'm just going to say it one more time. John's really yummy chocolate. Anybody else on the thing? Baked Goods. Oh, and goat cheese. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions from the council?
Goat cheese, good.
Delicious.
Try some.
So good.
Any questions from the budget committee?
What is the first market date and what are the hours?
The first date is May 3rd, and it's from 9 to 1.
Thank you.
And rain or shine,
Yes.
although some of the crafters whose products would get ruined don't show up on rainy days.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Here we have Sebago Lake Region Chamber of Commerce. We hear from the Chamber of Commerce. Okay. The next would be the Standish Food Pantry.
Good evening, town councilors, budget committee, and citizens of Standish. My name is Ben Quarles, Bonnie Eagle Road in Standish. I stand before you as the very proud president of the Standish Food Pantry and to offer our thanks for all the generous support from the town of Standish and citizens of this community. If you want to see what a generous community can do, I invite you to please visit the pantry. Since 2019, the Standish Food Pantry's mission is to provide food, partnering opportunities, and education to reduce hunger and food insecurity in Standish and the surrounding communities. Our funding comes from donations and grants. We have no trust or endowment providing funds. We deeply value the continued support of the town of Standish and this community. 14% of Maine households, 1 in 8 adults, 1 in 5 children, are food insecure. And 40% of Maine's food insecure population does not qualify for the SNAP program. Over 5,000 households in Cumberland County rely on food pantries. 468 of those households came to the Standish Food Pantry in 2024. The Standish Food Pantry is a nonprofit 501c3, 100% volunteer organization. We have over 60 active volunteers who've worked more than 4,300 hours last year to put food on local tables. We're open 2 days a week, Monday and Wednesday, with a full shopping model. Think of us as a small, well-stocked grocery store. Our clients love our model and are treated with the utmost respect and dignity that we all deserve. We serve all local communities with 50% of our clients being Standish residents. If you need food, we're here to help. We serve an average of 120 families per week, roughly 360 men, women, and children, and we saw a 34% increase in the number of families served in 2024. In February of this year alone, we welcomed 31 new families who have never visited the pantry before. Maine is one of the strongest systems in the nation to combat hunger. With our partners like Good Shepherd, Wayside, Hannaford, we collect over 24,000 pounds of food every month and waste almost nothing. Adding to this are all the local food drives and donations we receive daily from local businesses and residents. We hold the cost of food we distribute to 10 cents a pound, but our monthly food costs of $2,200, like everything, is increasing steadily. With the town and the community's gracious assistance, the Standish Food Pantry owns and operates its own building and van. We are blessed with these assets and continue to work to ensure we provide a safe and welcoming environment to our clients and staff of volunteers. This year, we need to resurface our parking lot to ensure the safe movement of clients and food to and from the pantry. This is one of our most challenging and expensive projects. We are also working through grant processes to obtain funding to improve refrigeration for our meat selections and obtain a generator to protect our inventory of frozen and refrigerated foods. We hope to use current funds, grants, and the assistance we receive from the town of Standish to accomplish these aggressive goals. I'm here to answer any questions and promote any dialogue that strengthens our partnership and continues our mutual goal of operating one of the best food pantries in the state of Maine. Thank you for your time and your consideration. And we're asking for $10,000. Any questions?
Any questions from the Budget Committee?
Thank you.
Thank you.
One question?
Yes.
How much land does the pantry own there? Is there just what's open, or is there any of the wooded lot that is owned by the pantry?
That is a very, very good question, and one we are researching right now. In fact, we're in touch with a title company and also a company that did the last survey. I can tell you that there's some, let's say, discrepancies between the deed and the actual site based on what I've seen of the neighborhood next door. And I can tell you what I think the property lines or boundaries are really where the church is, where we park our cars on the street on the side, that Walnut, whatever it is, and then the parking lot.
Okay.
Beyond that, it's not clear to me how much more of that property is ours, but I do believe it's a very small amount.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now is North Gorham Public Library.
Good evening. Thank you to the board for all you do for the residents of Standish and the surrounding communities. My name's Terry White, and I'm the president of the North Gorham Public Library, even though I live in Standish. With me here tonight is our part-time library director, Diane Atwood from Gorham. And the library assistant was also going to be here, but she's Debbie Ledoux, and she's from Standish as well. Thank you for allowing us to present our mission and ask for financial assistance. Just as a part of our mission states that our library is a forum for information and ideas to enlighten all people by presenting all points of view on current and historical issues. We annually hold political presentations where the town council men and women get to respond to questions from the public, but also get a chance to speak about why you should vote for them. We could do that for Standish as well, or Wyndham, but we haven't in the past, but it's always an opportunity. Currently, we have a display with maps of Gorham at the library, along with a survey about the trail system and farmlands, so that local residents can give their opinions on different possible projects. Just like we serve Standish residents for borrowing books, story time, book group, or writers group, we could have Standish surveys or information available to the public as well. We also have story time on Wednesdays, books club, a writers group, just to name a few of our activities. Last year, which is July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, we spent a little over $23,800. We are on track to spend approximately 15% more this year. One of the reasons for the increase is to cover the new part-time librarian assistant position. And I want to be clear about that. Like our full-time librarian is our part-time library director is working 12 hours a week. So when I say part-time, I mean part-time. And the assistant is only working 6 hours a week. So I just wanted to clarify it because it's not a lot of hours that are running a whole library. Let's see. We have events that we have to cover the cost of as well as such author visits, crafts and projects for children, concerts for adults and children. We'd like to get a new sign, but we'll see how our budget does. We currently have 2 fundraisers, one in the spring, a book and plant sale, and one in the winter, holiday crafts and a book fair. In the next few months, we are planning to also put a donate button on our website, and we can also send out that link through social media so everybody else can see it. We currently serve 265 Standish residents, approximately 33% of our patrons of our library. We are asking the town of Standish to contribute $3,000 to the North Gorham Public Library to help us defray some of those costs. And what we'd like to do is, well, obviously we have to get our pay for the paid positions first, and that doesn't even cover that. So, doesn't even cover the part-time assistant. All of this, and we aren't even taking into consideration the history of the library, which has been providing our families, individuals, and children with borrowed books, crafts, and events for over 130 years. It was originally in 1895, our library was started. Our library was then incorporated on October 12, 1918. That's when it had its first actual building. It burnt down in 1975 with, from arson, but it reopened in 1977. We can serve our community because of the volunteers that put in valuable hours, such as Kathy Corbett, Cynthia Fullerton, Priscilla Hopkins, Marlene Scholl, Greg Smith, Anastasia Shawchuck, and Robin Sanford. And there's many more that I'm not listing that help with events or other activities. We have 671 Facebook followers, so we're active on social media as well and trying to get the word out. On our mission, I have a mission, I know how you asked for a mission statement, and I have our mission statement if you want it, but it's a page long, so I didn't want to read the whole thing. So,
You're a good talker, go ahead.
you want a whole page of what
Oh,
our
you can go ahead, you good. Oh, you know. I
But-
know.
So we are asking for $3,000. Have any questions?
Mr. Deacon?
Who's next door to you?
Who's next door to us? Oh,
The
the
person.
church and the fire department.
Fire station.
Well, the
And-
fire station is attached, actually attached, yeah.
Attached, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and the fire station isn't just a Gorham Fire Station, is it? They also, that truck
Goes
serves,
to Standish and
Yes.
Wyndham too, I'm guessing. I
Yes.
don't know for sure.
so
but-
what I'm getting at is, when we think of, your name, North Gorham, when you really think of it, I mean, going back 100 years, the people of Maine, Standish and Gorham and Wyndham, I mean, they got together and helped each other, right? I mean, there's a long tradition of Gorham and Wyndham Fire Department, as well as this station with Standish, but the library too. And so people have had a view of community, not narrow-minded, like, oh, just the people in Standish, but people in Maine have traditionally looked at community broadly to say, look, we all need to work together and help each other. So the North Gorham Public Library, while technically in Gorham and supported by the town of Gorham, of course, especially with the fire station attached, not just the neighbor, but actually physically attached, we are part of the same community. So when we think of our other libraries, the Richfield, the Steep Falls Library, you are our library too, just as much as they are, because the long tradition of serving the community in a very broad, general way. And as you say, many of your patrons come from Standish. You yourself come from Standish. So I just want to make the point that a lot of the other groups, the active seniors, have people come from other towns. Well, this is an area where Standish residents get a value for this too. And because it's all part of our sense of community, of all of us working together, not just Standish, but together with Gorham, we help each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
What level of funding does Gorham provide?
Gorham actually gave us $12,000 for this year.
Any questions? Any questions from the budget committee? Okay,
Thank you.
The last one is the Old Red Church.
I get to speak to you again. Unfortunately, Eleanor Dudek cannot be here tonight, and I was recruited only a little while ago to speak for the Old Red Church. I can't speak to the amount that she asked for, but I can speak to the need. Last April, we had a little storm that did some damage to the old red church. Now, we knew there was a little rot at the bottom of the corner post, but when the storm hit, it ripped the utilities off the building. And we subsequently found the entire corner post was actually held together by paint. There's no surprise that it was ripped off. There was very little actual wood there that was intact. So that was a major project that had to be initiated last year and it's still ongoing. There are other problems that need to be addressed. And of course, I need to remind you, this is a town-owned property. There are plans right now to deal with the two front doors. They don't fit very well, to say the least. On that list also is all the front windows of gaps to the outside that shouldn't be there. They're not sealed in any way, shape, or manner. The bell tower needs work. There's some work being considered that, yes, they have to take the whole thing down, repair the roof, reconstruct what needs to be reconstructed. There's a myriad of projects that come with a building that old. And of course, for many years, it wasn't kept up. So, once again, the Old Red Church is requesting your help in the form of a donation.
Any questions?
I think my question is actually for you. If it's a town-owned building, would it be more, why is it a donation and not something that's in our regular budget to take care of?
Scott?
I don't know too much about the Old Red Church, as far as, but I know that it's a town-owned property and I think it's insured.
It's insured by us.
But it's
Our charter, I believe, says
it's in the
that we
charter.
are part of it, but it's not clear about. I mean, the town doesn't use it. It's part of the historical purposes, but we haven't maintained it. We've worked with and gotten grants for it, but it needs a lot of work.
Yeah, John? Sorry, Mr. Deacon.
Obviously, it's not housing. But I'm wondering if, as a part of the community, you're reaching out to the Fuller Center to see if they might have suggestions for you to get help with the work that you need. If they work to provide a place for seniors so they can watch playgrounds, that's not exactly housing either. But so if there is a way for you to connect with the Fuller Center, perhaps use some of their expertise, if not other help, I would encourage it.
I'll pass that along.
Well, the town staff have met with them, and I know that part of the problem is it is so old, it's hard to find builders that are qualified to deal with old buildings. And so I know we found one builder, we worked together, and it was so much money, he stopped it. And I think we went to like an industrial because it was less expensive for them to do it. So it's multifaceted challenges, unfortunately.
Yes, it is.
Any other questions from the council? Budget committee?
I didn't hear, why it's not on budget? Why it's
I have no idea.
Okay, is that something that we could possibly look into?
I know the charter spells out part of it. Mary, do you know what the?
Yeah, it's in the admin code, which is chapter 3. It's section 3-59. Describes the trustees or the ones who do the fundraising.
Did you hear that, Lisa?
I did.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Any other questions from the budget committee?
Can we get a copy of last year's income and expenses? And do you have any estimates on what they're gonna cost when we get those?
It was only recruited after I arrived here. This is called extemporaneous speaking. I will pass it along, and
Thank you.
That's good, being the budget, I think, of the town.
Okay, now it's under a trustees.
Trustee, well,
Somehow that's the way it works.
Always has.
In the charter,
It's worked pretty well too.
yeah, in the charter, the Historical Society has a second floor.
Yeah.
of the museum.
so small, go up those stairs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So that's all the presentations for this evening. The public part of the meeting for speaking will be officially closed. We are going to now go through and have our council and budget discussion, and
Like 3 minutes.
we can and I just was asked for a break, so we can take a 2-minute break for if anybody needs it, and we'll come back here and then make our decisions.
See you later, dear.
But budget committee, council members, please come back.
For one. Chris. Everybody does it. For one.
Okay, I think for the most part, we're all back.
Let's roll.
So let's jump right into the cemeteries.
Guys, we're back in session.
Back in session, please. Thank you. So we're going to start off with the cemeteries. Start the council discussions on the Maplewood Cemetery.
I have no problem with I have no problem with all the cemeteries, and what someone else does.
I will make a note that the Oak Hill Cemetery did not come here tonight for the presentation. As part of the application, there was a must-attend donation request night with the council and budget committee, so they will be, that donation will be taken off. So any comments from the budget committee about the Maplewood Cemetery? Okay, so let's have a roll call for the Maplewood Cemetery, please.
To approve.
To approve the 700.
Okay, yep. Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
So to go through the Oak Hill Cemetery, as I just stated, they were not here. So we will amend that to 0 and move it forward. Is that the best way to do that?
So I would think there'd be a motion to move it or to vote it down.
Just vote it down. So we'll just do a no vote for that since they were not here. So a roll call, please, on Oak Hill Cemetery.
Christie?
Thinking. Yes.
Just, may I clarify?
To say that, I'm gonna be voting yes also. I mean, I think we can vote the way we want even.
Can I follow up my yes?
As a point of clarification, to go over this again, if you look at the bottom note of every application, it says they must attend the donation request night with the council and budget committee as a prerequisite to get the donation. Yes, Mr. Gardner.
So then why do we have to vote it down? Why can't we just cross it off, they're not here, and move forward? Because it doesn't meet the requirements to be voted on.
I'm fine with that. I'll leave it up to the clerk or to Scott as the proper procedure.
Mr. Giswaldi?
They requested $100, so I need to know whether to put in 100 or 0 in the budget.
So we can make maybe a motion to make it 0 and vote on it?
Sure.
Where did it say it on this form here?
Very bottom. Right at the bottom, the organization must return its request, within the dates provided, and must attend the donation request night.
Okay, got you.
I just feel like I'm gonna get calls too, and I don't care. Obviously, I don't have a vote, but if we allow one, I just feel like we should be consistent in how we do this, because we have other great organizations. The Sebago Lakes Chamber gives money to the food pantry, and they didn't come, so I know I'll get phone calls.
It was past 3 years I've been doing this, or past 2 years is my 3rd year. It's been a consistent question. If they don't show, do we give them? If they do show, do we give them? So this is an easy way to eliminate the question of they're not here, they don't get it. So I'll make a motion that we move their Oak Hill Cemetery donation to 0.
Second that.
So.
I guess votes for a 0 donation.
Correct.
Thank you.
So we'll have a roll call on the amended order, please, for 0.
And the amended is to Mr. Watson, seconded by Mr. Gardner to 0. Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Parmelo?
With reservations, yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Next one would be this, Standish Village Cemetery Association for $37.50. Any discussion needed on this? I don't see any from the council. Any questions or discussion from the budget committee? Roll call for to fund the amount.
To fund that amount.
Yep.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
The last one for cemeteries is the Steep Fall Cemetery for $15,000. Is there any discussion needed from the council on this one? Any discussion from the budget committee? Yes, Lisa.
They threw out the number of 15,000 to repair that fence. I would hesitate granting $15,000 until they had some paperwork that says who the bid was from. They have more than one bid, they can get more than one bid, but there's no numbers for us to look at other than them saying $15,000 from somebody who called somebody. So I would hesitate on that one.
I just know the town, put in a fence out back and I just put in a different sort of fence and we spent 20,000 for one over there. So I would guarantee it's probably more than 15 that they're gonna spend, unfortunately. I wanna say out back, we spent more than 20.
Bill?
The only thing I can say on that is then we'd have to question the old red church building, adding everything in here that asks for something, we would have to ask them to bring in a
Quote.
quote, and I think we would be opening up a pretty good can of worms. So I understand where you're coming from, but everybody that's come here tonight has asked for money for something, and now for them to have to go get quotes before we can allow it.
They're going from 1,500 last year to 15,000.
Yeah, because of this fence.
I
because of the
understand,
fence.
and I understand it may be expensive, but I still would like to see something on paper that says this company said this is for material, this is for labor. That's a lot. This company says this and this. I think it would be a disservice just to say, yes, here's $15,000 to fix a fence. I grant that it probably is going to cost quite a bit. It may cost more than that. And what if we're shortchanging them? That's my point. $15,000 is a lot of money.
I hear it'd be nice to get some more numbers on some of these things
And
sometimes.
that's one of the details that they should have brought with them.
Any other discussion from the budget? Any further
Speaking
discussion?
For the budget,
Yes.
I think it's well worth the money, 15,000.
And it may well be, but it's hard to just give money out for what they're asking for it. I understand, and it is well worth it if it has to be repaired, but they're saying they called one person and they estimated $15,000. They didn't think to call anybody else, or they did call somebody else, and this is the lowest bid. We don't have any proof of that. And I'm only saying that because 15,000 is quite a larger jump from 1,500 to repair the fence this year.
If
I can't do the whole thing.
if they say we're done with this, the town's gonna take the cemetery over. And then my other point was, if they say they came in at 10,000 next year when they come back, we could always be like, you have $5,000 left, you get nothing.
But what if it comes in at 25? And then
That's
next
all
year
they've
we-
asked, though.
Got a point of order. Isn't the budget committee gonna get this donations to look at in a meeting in a few weeks?
They will get in, we'll get their
I
recommendations.
thought this was a council, now that we've closed it, that it was a council deliberations and to pass it on to them and then they could deliberate in their meeting. I'm not sure if we're doing this right tonight. Cause I thought the council was gonna do this donations and then turn it over to the budget committee so then they could review it and those questions could be asked in their committee. That's where I'm at.
See a question.
I mean, I would ask Mary that question, what she would recommend and what's been done in the past. However, I think that it's helpful sometimes for us to ask our questions when you're right here. It does help us a little bit. So that's just my quick opinion.
Okay, either way.
Mary, in the past, or
I
Scott?
think that probably Mr. Pomelo is on the right track.
I'm pretty sure the council should be debating this tonight. And then we present it to them to debate, and they bring it back to us. I'm pretty sure that's how it's always worked.
I can proceed that.
And I
way.
think we did let you ask questions all through the process until now.
So I can proceed that way. It's fine. Okay. So any further comments from the council for the 15,000 for this cemetery? Okay, roll call please for the
The
full amount.
15,000, yep. Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
6 yes.
Moving on to the libraries. We have the rich.
I ask a question first before we move on. If this goes to the budget committee, and there are questions like that, where do we go for the answers?
You actually invite the person in possibly that, or you gotta invite the town manager in.
You can go to the.
Or you can invite the chair of the town council in.
Scott.
You can invite anybody into your budget committees to discuss anything in this budget, department heads or anything. So
Or do you think it would go through the finance committee, through Scott to reach out to the organization, or through the town manager to reach out to the organization to get you information? Yep. Yes.
So they're not gonna ask, we're not gonna ask them questions tonight, or you're not gonna throw it to them anymore, is that what you're saying?
We'll proceed just with the
Okay.
town council discussion, then they'll have the opportunity to ask us or rebut us on the April 2nd, April 2nd meeting when they have their time to review it.
Okay. I mean,
So,
they're right here.
to
I
answer
mean-
his question, you're gonna have to vote, what he just said, it's gotta be in the future. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna keep keep this rolling on to the libraries. So we're gonna start with the Richville Library, with their request for $4,300 that was amended from the 9,500. So is there
I have no problem with that.
any other questions or discussion for that?
Can I make a? I like the library world, and when they came in and said there were 4 libraries, and I spoke to 2 tonight on the QT, it would be nice if something took place between those 4, and they're able to communicate with Deep Falls, and if they have something, they can go to say down to Gorham or go to Wyndham in that respect. And I'm thinking too of the young lady that's trying to get up by Richville, that place going up there, and they're spending a little bit amount of money. I think sharing, I think it's one of the big things, and when I brought it up, I saw a lot of heads nod about it. That may be something for us as a council to think of what is available for materials, etc. I just throw that out. Call it the lost world process, whatever.
Fair enough. Thank you, Terry.
Yeah.
So can we have a roll call for the funding of the 4,300?
Does there need to be a motion to reduce that?
I'll
Make a motion, we reduce that to 4,300.
I second that.
All in favor of reducing that to 4,300? That's so moved. The roll call on the amended to 4,300, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Pomerlo?
Yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
So now the Steep Falls Library for their 20,000.
For obvious reasons, I'm going to abstain.
Thank
What?
you.
She's gonna abstain
Then
because she's the president.
Discussions on the council for the 20,000 for the library.
I make a motion that we accept the 20,000. I need a motion.
Any other discussion?
Well, we gave them 20,000 last year, I believe, right? Is this gonna? Is this gonna be every year $20,000, or is this? You know what I mean, like a lot of money, and I'm just wondering, like, do we see like once these are fixed, it's gonna come down, or is it's gonna be a standing thing? So I'd be asking Jen.
That means
I'm
it's
asking
awkward
Jen.
that I get to answer.
I guess I was asking you. Yeah.
Nobody else has been able to answer questions.
Yeah, I think that probably should have been part of the question.
Okay.
I do know that.
I didn't know. I
when
thought
we
I'd
originally
wait till
went up to from 5 to
I'm
10.
good with it. I'm just
10 to
asking.
20. It was for certain things they needed. Some new walkways put in, so it was always something that it jumped out in that year. And then this year at 20,000, I think they're going to do some brickwork and a few things like that. But yeah, I would think that sooner or later, maybe we'd see that level back down. I would hope, because we have bumped it up for special reasons over the last 2 or 3 years. But there again, it might be a consistent every year. You don't know. I mean, like the clinic there, they were at 15,000. Then this year they asked for nothing. So they looked at their needs. So hopefully libraries would look at that also. But this year I can see.
Fine. I should have asked earlier.
That's fine.
I'm fine with it. I actually think it's down the road from my house, so like I'm just asking. Like,
yeah. Fair enough. No problem. Just want to keep it consistent.
Let's do it.
If there's no further discussion needed, let's have a roll call for the 20,000.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Pomerlo?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
5 yes, 1 abstain.
The next one we had was day one. Again, they requested $1,000. They were not here.
I make a motion to drop it down to 0.
I'll second that. All in favor of reducing that to 0? That's unanimous. So let's have a roll call on the amended for 0, please.
Yeah, I didn't have day one in my slip, so hold on a second. And this is day 1 to 0.
Correct.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Marmelo,
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
6 yes.
The next on the list was a Lifelight Foundation. We'll open that up for discussion. They requested $2,000.
Lifelight. Helicopters that come and get people.
I know I will say off the bat, I appreciate all they do, and I appreciate the lives they've saved, if we want to say that, 29 since 1998. I do see that it's a drastically lower number than most other municipalities that we have, and they are reimbursed and paid back by insurance companies like any other medical facility. So I don't know about the full $2,000 amount, just because I know saving lives is important, but also saving our taxpayer dollars is important. So
Would you make a motion to drop it to 500?
I'll make a motion to reduce that to 500.
I'll second that.
All in favor of reducing that to 500? That's a 5 to, how many people are here? 5 wanted.
One.
Abstain.
No, she's all set.
No, I was a no.
She was a no this time. Sweet. Vote on the motion.
Does it have to be unanimous?
No.
It does.
Okay, I did. That's what I was just wondering.
So, been amended to 500. So let's have a roll call on the amendment to 500.
Absolutely. Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Marmelo,
Yes.
Thomas. No.
Mr. Chair, can I ask you a question?
Pardon me?
Watson is yes, but what's your question?
Would it be appropriate for Scotty if we wanted to ask him, keep an amount list on the side to what we are doing so we know?
Yes.
I think he's right on top of it.
All right.
Yes, yeah.
Scott's on the
That-
ball over there.
Yeah.
He's got it.
Really
He's got it.
bothers me a little bit. We come in and
And the only thing that I missed tonight is, nothing here shows what we gave last year anyway. I think we used to show that, so we knew what we gave the year before, and
It is in
it would have been helpful, I think, for me.
it's in our donation book.
It is.
yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
It's
in that
not
bill.
listed on the spreadsheet.
I just was looking at the spreadsheet here.
That's you got me as a yes.
That's fine.
So the next one was the main public television. No one was here to represent that, so I am going to make a motion that we reduce that to 0.
Second that.
All in favor of reducing to 0?
Aye.
It's unanimous, so let's have a roll call, please, on the amended to 0.
Christie,
Aye.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Marmelo,
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
yes.
The next one then is NAMI Maine. Again, they were not here.
I'll make a motion to bring it down to 0.
I'll second that motion. All in favor of bringing that down to 0? That looks like it's unanimous. So roll call on the amended order, please.
Christie? Yeah. Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Marmelo,
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
6 yes.
Next, we have the Opportunity Alliance. They are requesting $3,000. Any discussion?
I think they do a heck of a service for the town of Standish, and the 3,000, I think, is well worth it.
I really appreciated their work they put into giving us all the facts and stats of what they do for Standish. I think that, personally, think that's well deserved.
You're here.
Any other discussion for opportunize. Then let's have a roll call for the full amount of 3,000, please.
Crispy?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Yes.
Armelo?
Yeah.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Next, we have the Southern Maine Area Agency on Aging. They were,
Motion to drop it to 0.
correct. I'll second that motion. All in favor of reducing that to 0? Looks like that's unanimous. So roll call on amended to 0, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Armelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Next, we have Through These Doors. They requested 2,500. A discussion on that.
There was.
Through These Doors for 2,500. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, then let's have a roll call for the full amount, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Armelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Next one is Woodford Family Services for the requested 500. Any discussion needed for that? Okay, then a roll call for the full amount, please.
Christie?
Yes.
Deacon?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Armelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
The next one would be for the Fuller House Center for Housing, Fuller Center for Housing, sorry. They requested the $5,000. Any discussion needed?
They just wanted to be able to use the transfer station to dump their waste if they were if they were improving a Standish home.
Were they gonna, was they gonna be charged for that, or was that gonna be
That was my
free service?
They would like a sticker waived and the disposal fees waived.
I'm gonna ask to reduce this.
Coming out of the 5,000?
I'm gonna ask to reduce this to 3,500. It's the first year in. I know they said they helped 3 families in Standish, but they said it could be as simple as a door, fixing a door or windows. I would think the first time in for them at 3,500. I would like to just set that at 35 this year and have them come back next year and do a presentation on how many families it did help this year. And basically the cost of what the services they're providing at Standish.
There's a motion on the floor. I do believe they were here the last 2 years.
Oh, they were?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
2 years ago.
Yeah, because I weren't here last year. I don't think when I was here last
I
year.
knew they'd been here before, just forgot when.
And how much did you get the first time here? Did you get 5?
They gone down.
But there's a motion on the floor for 3,500.
And that included what now?
And then they're getting the free dump sticker to dump all the debris and everything for free at a dump.
That's important.
And that's important
It's-
value.
It is quite the value there. I'll second the motion.
Thank you.
Let's have a roll call on the motion.
Could you clarify? Thank you.
To clarify, the motion was to reduce it to $3,500, but allow for a free dump sticker and disposal of the.
Demolition,
waste.
that's pretty.
And that was moved by Parmelo, second by Watson.
So roll call on that. On the I want to roll call on the motion.
So the yes means reduce it but to 3,500, but give them a dump sticker for free.
So this is on the motion to reduce it.
To 35.
Yeah. Christie?
Yeah.
Deacon?
No.
Gardner?
No.
Parmelo?
Yes.
Thomas?
No.
Watson?
Yes.
Lays on the table until the meeting.
Or we
But-
could
or you could
amend the
recons-
motion or reconsider the
that-
motion.
Yeah, you could reconsider the motion. That is correct.
Why are they doing that?
So it either lays on the table or we reconsider. the
Or
motion.
reconsider the motion.
Point of order, am I allowed to just say, well, you're supposed to hand the budget to us tonight?
We would have to, yes, so there's no laying it on the table per se. So will withdraw my second to the motion.
Well, the motion would fail anyway, so.
Right.
So basically we'd go back to the
Go back to the
original.
$5,000. So let's have a roll call on the the full amount for the
So
5,000.
Mr. Watson withdrew his motion, his second. And so now this motion is for the full 5,000, also including the dumpster and the free disposal.
It's just a vote to for fully fund it.
Yeah, need another.
Voting on it?
Yeah, just a second.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Parmelo.
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson,
Yes.
6 yes.
Since you guys are still here, I would just ask that before you go, when you do a job in Standish, if you can just let John and or myself know so that we can make sure that it's okay when you guys go to drop off.
Of course.
So moving on to the miscellaneous associations, we have first up the Saco River Corridor Commission. They're requesting $1,000. Is there discussion on this? I don't see anybody wanting discussion, so let's have a roll call on the funding of that full amount.
And that was for
The Saco River Corridor Commission.
$1,000.
Correct.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Parmelo,
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. And Watson.
Yes.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. We'd like to ask them.
You know the answer.
I don't know the answer.
Point of order. What's the problem?
We were discussing the $15,000 that this clinic requested. They did withdraw it, and she was asking if that was taken out of the budget books or not yet.
Yeah, they withdrew their application, so I would say it's fine.
We're good.
Okay, very good.
So the next one will go on to the Standish Active Seniors. Requesting $1,000. Any discussion?
The active seniors, 1,000.
Seeing none, let's have a roll call, please, for the full $1,000.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Parmelo.
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson.
Yes.
6 yes.
Standish Historical Society, they requested $3,000. Discussion on this.
Standish Historical Society.
Any discussion? No. Okay, seeing none. Standish Historical Society requested $3,000.
That's to take care of the building, right?
Correct. No,
To move their stuff.
To move their stuff to the new building, Terry.
Geez, the new building's gonna take a pile of money too, I think.
Right. That's why we want to help them out with 3,000. So let's move the vote.
Let's roll call, please.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Parmelo.
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson.
Yes.
6 yes.
The next one is the Steep Falls Farmers Market. They're
Point
requesting.
of order. And there's also in the budget one for Standish Snow Seekers. This has to be approved just so we can actually spend the money that we take in from the state. It's not on the list because obviously it wasn't a request.
Okay. Anybody, are we okay with moving forward to Standish Snow Seekers?
And we put
with that.
we put $3,700 in the
$3,700.
revenue.
Okay.
So we want to match that.
We'll have a roll call on the Standish Snow Seekers for $3,700.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Parmelo.
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson.
Yes.
6 yes.
So now on to the Steep Falls Farmers Market, and they are requesting $1,200. Any discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, let's have a roll call, please, for the full 1,200.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Parmelo.
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. Watson.
Yes.
6 yes.
The next one on our list is the Sebago Lake Region and Commerce. Again, they were not here, so I'll make a motion to reduce the $1,500 to $0.
Second.
All in favor of the amendment? It's unanimous. And the roll call, please, on the amended amount of $0.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Parmelo.
Yes.
Thomas. Yes. And Watson.
Yes.
6 yes.
Next on the list is Standish Food Pantry, and they're requesting 10,000.
I recuse myself.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion or questions? Seeing none, then let's have a roll call on the full amount, please.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon, oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Abstain.
Yes.
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
5 yes, 1 abstain.
Next on the list is North Gorham Public Library. They're requesting $3,000. Any discussion? See no discussion, so let's have a roll call, please, on the full amount.
Christie,
North Gorham Library.
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
And last but not least is the Old Red Church. They're requesting the $20,000 for building repairs and maintenance by the way it sounds. Any discussion?
Say that again.
Old Red Church, they're requesting $20,000.
That's the old.
Yep.
And they got a new one that's coming in.
No.
No, Historic Society's got,
Old
Red
Red
Church is
Church.
staying there, Terry.
I know. I'm just
You just tease.
talking out loud.
Just keeping me on my toes.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion? Then a roll call, please, for the full 20,000.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Pomelo,
Yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
That concludes the voting for the donations. At this time, we have to vote to move the operating budget.
Scott.
Yes, thank you. You're gonna ask.
If you have a question for Scott, go ahead. Go ahead.
Did you add that up?
It's $98,150.
Hey,
150?
150.
And do you remember what we gave out last year? Never mind.
78.
78. That was just one.
7,800. 70,800.
So let's, we have to vote to move forward the operating budget to the budget committee.
We need to make it.
We're ready. We have order.
Order number 32-25, forward fiscal year 26 operating budget to the Budget Committee. Where is it the special?
Motion to waive reading?
I'll second that. All in favor of waiving the reading? That looks unanimous. So let's have a roll call, please, to move this forward to the budget committee.
Christie,
Yes.
Deacon,
Yes.
Gardner,
Yes.
Pomelo,
yes.
Thomas? Yes. Watson?
Yes.
6 yes.
Is there any other items?
That is it.
Our next meeting, I believe, according to Scott's agenda, will be April 2nd. And that gives the budget committee their time to review the operating budget. And at this time, can we make a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, all adjourned. Thank you, guys.